Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I would like to talk about social work and kind of how I got into it, why I got into it, and where I'm at kind of in my journey with that. So, when I got pregnant, um, I got my Medicaid and I went to medication assisted treatment, which is I got on Subutex for my severe opioid use disorder. And what that means is I was on heroin bad, really bad. Um, so I started out at a clinic in a different county, which they were truly amazing. I don't tell a lot of people this, but I was still using for a while after I found out I was pregnant because I was an addict. It was hard. But the doctor out there, I can't remember his name, and that breaks my heart because he's the whole reason why I am who I am today. I went in one day for to meet with him. You didn't have to meet with him every day, but you had your doctor's appointments. And he looked at me and he said, he got that, stern look on his face. He said, Emily, do you want this baby? And I said, well, yeah, doc. I've got a room set up. I'm buying clothes. I'm buying diapers. And he looked at me straight in my eyes and he said, then you need to quit because they're going to take your baby. And it was like, oh my God, they will take my baby. I will not have her if I don't stop and change what I'm doing. And it was like people in addiction, or excuse me, people that have not experienced addiction don't get it. They just don't understand. It's like a switch flipped, and I was like, I don't have to use anymore. I don't. And I've not used since that day, since he said they're going to take your baby. It was like the chains broke in my brain finally, and I was like, okay, I don't have to do drugs anymore. It was amazing. But what happened? I was going through the health department for my prenatal care, and they decided to start a program for pregnant women and do medication assisted treatment. So I would be able to get treatment in my own county. I wouldn't have to go to the clinic every day. I would get a prescription from a doctor, and I would have a counselor that I would meet with. I think it was every week or maybe every 2 weeks. Anyways, I started the program and I had a counselor, and let me tell you, this woman was amazing. Her name was Sarah. I won't tell you her last name, anonymity. Um, but her name was Sarah, and I'm telling you guys, she was absolutely amazing. She really got me back, on this path that I needed to be on. And I was working peer support, and I had a client who had just graduated high school and was interested in college. So I took him to one of the community colleges to meet with an advisor. And, I got to talking. I was like, man, I really need to go back to school. And he's like, well, why don't you? And I was like, why don't I? And there I got back into school. So, in talking with my counselor, I was trying to find a program where I could do the substance abuse counselor and get that certification, which it's not called that anymore. Now it's called the certified drug and alcohol counselor in North Carolina, anyways, she said, Emily, you don't have to go to school for that. You can get a job and get your intern hours in and be certified. You don't have to go to school. She said, but if you want to go to school, do social work. And I was like, why social work? I don't want to work at CPS. Well, here's the thing. Not many people know this, but social work is not just CPS. Social workers are everywhere. Social workers are in your hospitals, in your nursing homes, in hospice care, in schools, in, everywhere, in CPS also, but in substance use agencies, in the clinics where I was at, and didn't even know it. So, she is really the one that put me on this social work path. She said, Appalachian State has a great distance ed program. You can do part time or you can do full time, and it's cheaper than going on campus. It's incredibly cheaper. And so really she's the whole reason why I am in this social work program. And once I got into the program, it was amazing what a fit it was for me. Um, all these feelings and emotions that I had had through the years about wanting to help my friends and wanting to help myself, and there was this thing that I always told people. I said, "Man, if I get clean, I'm gonna help people like us." And that's my goal now, is to help as many people that are suffering an addiction that I can. Um, so where am I at in that process? Right now, I'm a senior. I got my AA in 2021. In May of 21, I graduated from CVCC with my AA. And that took me 2 years. I started in 2019, and you guys, somehow, when I first graduated high school in '05, I had went to Western Carolina for a little bit, and I started smoking weed, and so I left there. You know, I was homesick. I wasn't going to class. I wasn't doing what I needed to do. So I came home and I said, well, I'll go to CVCC for a while. And, you know, I was still using, I wasn't on the hard drugs like I was, you know, towards the end, but I got with this guy and moved to Statesville, and I was like, okay, well, I'll transfer to Mitchell. Well, I never did, of course. And I didn't withdraw from my classes. I got a withdrawal fail, and my GPA was in the tank. And somehow, with 2 years of classes, I brought it up from like a 2 point something to a 4.0. And I'm still going strong with a 4.0 at Appalachian, which that's amazing. But now I am a senior. I'm in a cohort, which means that all of us, or most of us, have been together the entire time. We have had people that have dropped out and came in late, but most of us have been together since the beginning. We have some online classes, and then on Thursdays we have two seated classes. We have one that's 9:30 to 12, and then we have one in the afternoon that is 1 to 3:30. We've had some semesters that have been rough, like last semester it was a little rough, but this semester has been truly amazing. We have we have four wonderful professors, but our two in person professors are just absolutely amazing. Um, and so, where am I going from here? After this semester, I will not have my degree. A social work degree requires an internship, a field placement is what they call it, which means you have to work for free. And unfortunately, with the BSW, with the bachelor's, it's 32 hours a week. So the hours that they lay out is Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4. If your agency doesn't open at 8, I'm sure that it could be 9 to 5. I don't really know how all that works yet, but, you know, obviously, as long as you get your 32 hours in, I'm sure it's okay. But you do that Monday through Thursday, and then on Friday you have a seminar class, which is kind of going over what's going on in your field placement. I think you have a couple essays to write, but I'm not 100% positive on that. But really, man, this social work degree is like, I feel like it's where I've supposed to have been this whole time. Or I also feel like God put me on this path, and now I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. You know, when I was in my addiction, I always would, you know, be like, why, God? Why are you doing this to me? Like, why me of all people? You know, I had a 4.2 when I graduated high school. I should have a degree now. I should be doing something great. But here I am putting needles in my arm and putting dope in my body. Like, why? Why are you doing this to me? But now that I can look back on the bigger picture, I see why. Um, I was supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in this social work program. And let me tell you what God did for me. So when I graduated with my AA, the way the Appalachian does it, they have a class in Catawba County, a cohort in Catawba County, and then they have a cohort in Morganton. But they start the Morganton excuse me, the Morganton cohort started on an odd number year, and the Hickory cohort started on an even number year. And I graduated in 2021. You would think I would want to be in Hickory because of where I live, but the Hickory classes are nighttime classes, and the Morganton classes are daytime classes. And with me being a single parent, I needed daytime. So I didn't have to wait at all. I went straight into the BSW program in 2021, which was absolutely amazing. There was no waiting period. I got to start right away. So, God really truly does open doors for us when they need to be opened. So, if you are considering a degree in social work, I'd be happy to answer any questions. If you want to help people, that's what everybody says. I got into social work because I want to help people. But there are so many ways that we can help people. You can be a clinical social worker, you can do therapy, you can even do macro social work, which is like working on a bigger scale. Fighting for policies in the state legislature or even in the federal legislature. Advocating and lobbying for policies and change in that regard. So there's so many things that social workers can do, and that's all I really have to say about that. I'm going to talk more about graduate school and my plan for my master's later on, but I really haven't worked out all those kinks yet. I know I want to take at least a year or two off just to spend with my daughter. I have been in school almost the whole time that she's been alive, so I think she deserves some time with her mom where I'm not saying, I'm sorry, but I've got homework. I want to be able to say, yes, I'll come sit down and play with you. Yes, we'll color. Yes, we'll go swimming. Yes, we'll do that. So, thank you guys for watching. If you got some information out of this video, hit like, subscribe to my channel, help me out. See you guys soon.